is a damn Toyota 4Runner.
Toyota 4Runner.
I don't like them. I have never liked them. I think they are hideous vehicles. Period.
Really?
Yes.
Alright. What is Toyota the ones who make the RAV4s?
I think so. Yeah.
Because the only reason I even know a RAV4 is because I just remember that Kanye line. Like, what the fuck you think I rap for? To drive a fucking RAV4? And I'm like, what the fuck is a RAV4? But what an insult to the people who...
I've seen many of RAV4s.
But what an insult to the people who drive RAV4s.
But hopefully they don't rap.
Well, no, but a RAV4 is a pretty nice car, isn't it?
No! Cars named stupid shit, like some fucking third grader came up with a name for it, can't be a nice car.
Easy.
Name a nice car.
Easy. Because I drive a Dodge Dart, okay? Easy. So,
That's
easy.
Dumb. That's a dumbass name.
Easy. You hurt my feelings.
Dart's not even that stupid. It's like...
I thought you were going to say...
Little over the top. It's a little over the top. It's like you're trying too hard. Kind of like the Buick Encore. That was a stupid name.
I thought you were going to say...
It looks like the damn whatever they're called, Arcadia or some shit, the Buick.
I thought that was
Encore,
GNC.
the big one. And then they got the Encore. It's like this little smush-faced pug of a fucking SUV thing. They called it the Encore. Like, that's a shitty Encore. Now, if the Encore came first, then it was called the Envoy, and then the Encore was like this big, grand fucking creme de la creme of that vehicle, then it's like, yeah, it's an Encore.
Yeah, you're just saying that show didn't need an Encore.
Yeah, it's a stupid fucking name for no performance. No, this, I don't know, just an ugly vehicle.
Well, when I was saying that mine was a Dart, I thought you were, and I kept saying easy, I thought you were going to say, well, Shawn, your car's not even that nice. So why does it surprise you that I'm picking on the name? You drive a RAV4, basically. But it's a 2021 RAV4. It's brand new.
Like, how you gonna name something with a number in it?
What happened? Was there ever a RAV3?
No. No, they don't have a RAV3. They have a fucking RAV5 either. They got a RAV4. That's it, just 4.
Just 4-cylinder, probably.
So? They don't have a Mitsubishi fucking Eclipse 4. And to go on, to take that a step further, why would you celebrate that it's a 4-banger ever?
Yeah,
That's not something to celebrate.
Oh man.
That said, I wanted a bigger vehicle, but damn it, I also wanted fuel economy and no power. I got a 4-banger.
Dude, anymore, like, the only vehicle I really want, because you know my dream car was always a BMW, which you've had one.
Yes.
But that was my dream car, just a Series 3, you know, that's the one I've always wanted, Series 3. I wanted, basically you had my dream car, basically, like, to a T. I wanted it red with black wheels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Red and black leather interior, though, would probably be the only difference. You didn't have red and black interior, did you?
I had black interior with red stitching and then a red accents because it had the sports package in it. It was really nice.
Okay, yeah, I guess you did. So basically, your car, yours was a Series 3, right?
Yeah, well, first it's a 3 Series, but yeah, it was.
A 3 Series, okay. Well, anyways, I wanted to have a 3 Series BMW, right? And I'm not saying I never will, but anymore, man, I really my other dream car has always been a Jeep Wrangler. And the reason is because you could take them bitches pretty much anywhere. They retain their value. And they always look badass. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what year they are. It's hard to tell apart the years of a Jeep Wrangler. You know what I mean? Because I'll see a 2009 and then I'll see a 2015 and I can't tell the difference. You know what I mean? Like...
The only difference lies in the douchebaggery of the people driving it.
Yeah, I mean...
You got a 50-50 chance that the guy's name's Chad, but...
Chad?
It's probably like Chad or Chaz or any variation, but he's got like fucking Luke Bryan playing really loud.
No,
like
not that kind of
Jeep.
Jeep.
But it's backwards. And some stupid fucking sunglasses and the doors are off and he doesn't have a shirt on. He's got like a fucking nipple ring and he's, that's who drives Jeep Wranglers. 50% of Jeep Wrangler drivers.
Well, listen, I've always wanted a Jeep Wrangler because I want to go on the road. Granted, I know the fuel economy, but when you're talking about like some of these places that I've been where you're going down these back roads that they're gravel and they're like, it would be nice to have a Jeep just to be able to go, and then you don't have to worry about as much about the snow and the stuff like that. So I don't know, just anymore it just seems practical, and then if you need to sleep in the back, you can. Like I don't know, there's just some practicality to it that I think would be nice as far as like my dream vehicle. But right now I drive a Dodge Dart that apparently
Have you ever been in the back of a Jeep Wrangler?
I have.
Shawn, how tall? You're 6'1"?
You take the seats out, Cat.
You're still 6'1".
Yeah. Jeep Wranglers are big.
I mean, like...
Maybe I haven't thought it through.
Maybe when you were like 15 and you weren't 6'1", it sounded like a really good idea. But I don't think, and I may be wrong. I may be. It's possible. I haven't ever like took the seats out and laid down in the back of one.
All right. Well, you just led me to another conversation for our little whatever this is, because we've recorded one of these before where you've called in and it's not podcast night. We're just talking. And I plan on putting these on my motivational channel, but we have yet to talk about motivation at all. But that's fine. It's content regardless, and I just like to record conversations with my friends. But you led me to a topic that I think is a really good one. What age did you become a dream crusher? Do you know if it was... Is it recent that you're crushing people's dreams? Or has it always been there? This is just the first time I've had my dreams crushed by you. I don't know.
That's right. I think you've ridden passenger seat with this dream crushing for a long time. I just never directed it at you.
I was driving.
I've been a dream crusher for probably when I got promoted to E6. I'm gonna take a step. Even when I got promoted to E5, when I was a sergeant, that's probably when I started being a dream crusher.
I thought you would appreciate that.
That's the first time I was ever in charge of people and realized that people needed their dreams crushed.
Oh, man. No, I was on this topic the other day, though. I'm joking about the dream crusher, but I thought you'd get a good laugh out of that. Like, when did it happen? Was it when your dreams got crushed? Like, no, but I was having this conversation the other day because I was talking about how, like, I do plan on making a lot of money, but the reason why, and me and you've talked about it before, too, like, because it all started on the conversation when me and Cabe were going to get vending machines, and I think I talked about this a little bit when our last conversation, but like me and Cabe were on our way to get vending machines, and we were just talking about like why I'm trying to do all the different things I'm doing. Vending machines, I want to own real estate, I want to own storage units, be a real estate agent, an appraiser. I'm trying to do all these things that will generate income so that I can actually do the thing that I want to do, which is travel the world and speak to people, whether that's in grade schools, high schools, business conferences, jails, rehabs, whatever, because those situations can pay well, but they don't always pay well until you get to a certain level, right? So I basically just want to fund my dreams, and I just want to hit the road and just travel the world encouraging people and motivating them. And that's the reason why I'm trying to do all the different things that I'm doing. So I plan on having a lot of money so that I can help people, you know what I mean, and encourage them. And so, but life is all about balance. So I was telling Gabe, I said, like, the reason why I feel like it's always a self-sustained thing with it is, like, the reason why I will drive 5 hours to go pick up a vending machine and have, like, we did not have a good day doing that. Like, it was just everything that could go wrong went wrong on the trip. You know what I mean? Got overcharged for the thing that we used to haul the vending machine. It was pouring down rain. Got there late to the people's house. They were pissed. Like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Cabe's back went out. Like, it's just not a good day, right? But I told him, I said, the reason why, like, I'm still just happy to do it is because my motive is to fund the speaking. See what I'm saying? So it's like, I always have a deeper why. Like, that's always going to fuel that. It's like, I'm not just doing it just for the money. Because if I was doing it just for the money, I'd be like, the hell with this. This cost me more money than it made me right now. One day, it'll make me more. But right now, it's cost me more. You know what I mean? And then, but I was telling him, I said, huh? What'd you say?
I just said yes.
So anyways, getting to my point, life is about balance, right? So when you were talking about the dream crushing, I don't know that I would ever call it dream crushing, not joking. But I think a healthy dose of reality is good. Like, when I have a large portion of money, I never want, because this is always the thing that you fear. It's like, all right, well, if you're a millionaire, like let's say Catlin's a millionaire tomorrow, now you afford a different lifestyle, not only for yourself, but the people you care about, right? But how do you assure that the people you care about, i.e. your kids, your family, whoever, don't become entitled assholes, right? Well, I think you do it by giving them a good dose of reality. How do you balance when you can afford to give people the things that you've always wanted to give them, but how do you help keep them in the balance of not letting that go to their head? And not letting it go to your head either, because obviously
I get a lot of enjoyment out of being able to provide things to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just for I like to share in other people's joy. I like to be a joy multiplier. You're excited about something, people excitement. So if I can create that excitement, I will also in turn be excited. Like, does this, but if I see something that I know someone would like, I want to buy it for them, even if it's not like someone in my close inner circle. Like me and Ashley went to this garden thing, and there was this metal VW bus, and there was a guy at work that's like always wanted a VW bus, and he's had a couple Beetles and all this, and I thought, man, I should totally buy that shit for him. Like, why would I spend $60 on something for someone that I rarely talk to? Because he would have fucking loved it. That's why. And then I would have been excited.
Yeah.
But to take away from that, yes, how do you give to someone without them developing a sense of entitlement or being spoiled, right? That's what you're asking me?
Yeah, because for someone like our age, like, we've been through enough shit. Because here's what I'm trying to say, like, and this derived from the hi-ho thing, there was a question on there, it was like, is it necessary for you to have to go through shit in life? And my answer was, I feel like it is, and the reason is because the world's not perfect. At some point in time in your life, you are going to experience the not so good of life, right? And if you are caught off guard by it, it will completely destroy you, because you'll be like, I didn't think this existed. But if you've experienced negative aspects of life, and I'm not trying to be cynical here. I mean, of course, you can go extreme, and I'm not talking about extremes. I'm just talking about, like, pain's universal. We all have felt pain at some point in time in our lives, right? And so we've all had difficult days. And without those difficult days, one, you don't appreciate the goodness of good days, but then not in the same way. But then two, you don't develop the perspective that you would get had you not had the challenge. You know what I mean? So there's never a need for you to rise to any other level because you've never been challenged before. You know what I mean? So for someone like me and you who's been through stuff, yes, but like for, if you're raising kids and now they're going to be raised up in a home where they have every single thing they could ever imagine afforded to them, how do you prepare them for, quote unquote, the real world? Because the real world is the real world and it's not perfect. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm going for. It's like, how do you help them to continue to be humble even though they have a lot of opportunity through financial means?
So I have the answer. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you great.
Okay, I'm on 453. So it's not the physical, tangible objects, material things that you should be giving to your kids or the people you care about. They have no value. It doesn't matter how much they cost, they are worthless. If my car costs $100,000 and I drive it to work every day, and that's the sole purpose of that vehicle, when I get a new car, if I get a $10,000 car, that's still the sole purpose of that vehicle. The takeaway lesson in that should be appreciate that you have the means to get to work or whatever. When you provide for your kids and you've got a really nice house and a pool and fucking a basketball court and a tennis court and a whole pool, billiards downstairs and ping pong and air hockey and video games and everything. That becomes the norm to them. If you take it all away, you're not teaching them anything. You're taking from them. So it's the lessons that you can provide, not the physical objects. It's the life lessons. It's the experiences. It's love. It's things of that nature. So you have to get creative. The less you have, like physically, money, possessions, necessities even, more creative you have to be. Kids to appreciate things and receive joy and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're broke and you want to give your kid a birthday party, you can't rent out the fucking jump park and let 100 kids come and have cake. You can't afford that. So you get creative. You plan like a little Easter egg hunt or some kind of weird thing that costs you essentially nothing, but you've got to be really creative, and the kids will still enjoy that just as much, But on the opposite side of the coin, the more you have, you also have to be creative with the way you present your kids with these physical objects and things. Like, this is a good example that a lot of parents do. Not a lot, but a lot more should. Every year for Christmas, their kids just get so much shit. So much shit. And what do they do with the old shit? Right? Nothing happens. Eventually it'll get thrown out or stuck in a box somewhere because you have that dollar amount in your head. Like, I paid $200 for that. I'm not throwing it away.
Yeah.
It's already worthless. When you bought it so the kid could use it, and now when he doesn't give a shit about it anymore, it is now useless to him.
Exactly.
So Clay once, Mom said, I want you to pick all your toys that you don't play with anymore, and we're going to go find a place to give them to somebody so some kid that doesn't have these toys can get enjoyment out of them. And he did. He was like, I don't play with this, I don't play with that, he can take this, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of reminds you that, yeah, there are kids that don't have all of these things, and you have to get creative and put it in perspective for them. So I think it's not a blanket answer that applies to just everything, but in most cases, yeah, just you have to simply be creative with the ways you give, because it's going to go one of two ways. If you've got all the money in the world, well, naturally, your kid's going to have nice shit. Like, you can't take that money with you when you die. You're going to want to spend money on them. You're going to want to give them the Mercedes. You're going to want to give them that badass class ring that costs more than everybody else, or the perfect prom dress, or whatever, right? Because you can afford that. If you're intentionally giving them shitty things, hand-me-down things, they'll resent you for it. They're not going to be like, oh, I completely understand. You're giving you, the millionaire parent, are giving me this because Bobby Joe down here, whose parents work at the fucking dollar store, had to get some secondhand thing. I understand. That's not the takeaway. It's not how it's going to go. Or, here's you a nice new Mercedes. I actually just keyed it and then scratched it and fucking threw mud on it, so you'll understand that not everyone has nice things. Again, that's not gonna be the takeaway.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I think the key thing you said too, though, man, was, because I'm with you on the lessons. I think regardless if you have a lot of resource or you don't have a lot of resource, it's what you do with it that matters the most. You know what I mean? Those lessons. So like you said, if you get creative when you don't have a lot, but your kid never really understands that they don't necessarily have a lot because you were able to do really amazing things with not a lot. You know what I mean? Kind of like when people see that I've been traveling so much and they're like, man, that must be nice just to travel all the time. I'm like, I drove a $500 car 7 hours and slept in it with the seat let back and ate peanut butter sandwiches for 2 days. There's nothing nice about it other than getting to see this badass waterfall. You know what I mean? Like that. So once again, it's like you're able to do something awesome, but you just have to get creative about how you're going to do it because you don't have the money. You know what I mean? So then the creativity comes in. And then like you said, also on the flip side, if you do have a lot of money, you have to get really creative on how you help people understand, like, hey, we can afford this now. However, here's the lesson, here's the drawback, here's the takeaway, here's the whatever to kind of help shape that. So yeah, I like the creativity part of it. One of the things you mentioned, though, that really got my mind going was, aside from having a lot of money, but just the aspect where you said, like, you like to get things for people with a purpose behind it. That really resonated with me because I think that, once again, just being a good human being to people is so valuable. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of a ticket price. But like you said, you saw that Volkswagen van or whatever it was, you know, and you're like, dude, I want to get that for him, even though it ain't like we're best friends or nothing, but it's just like I want to get it for him because I know it'll make his day. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's great value in that, man. Like, I think that's an awesome characteristic to have, and it does happen. I'm not going to act like it never happens, but that's the kind of stuff that really, like, gets me excited about life. Just the fact that we can do that for people. You know what I mean? Like, not even monetarily, but just in general. Like, we could go out of our way, quote unquote, to do something thoughtful for people when that approaches. You know what I mean? So since you are aware of what his preference was, you saw that, and it's like you instantly thought of him. It's like, man, I could do that for him. That wouldn't be nothing. You know what I mean? I think that's cool.
So most people get that gut feeling and that intention around Christmas time, right? Like, how many times, even as a kid or as an adult, whatever, where you're at the store and it's, you know, November 3rd, music and shit, and you're walking through, and they've just got shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Some weird ass bobblehead of some football player from. But you see this football player, and you're like, oh man, that dude I used to work with, I saw him the other day. He's like a huge Cubs fan, whatever the team. And you think of him, and because you're in the gift-giving spirit, you might just fuck around and buy that shit, And it happens a lot at Christmas and all of that, but it's so much more valuable of an experience when it's not situational, when it's spontaneous, when there is a level of spontaneity to it. But
exactly, yeah.
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you. I've done several years of thinking about this, and I've told a couple people, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I hope I don't lose you, because I feel like this is good information to have.
Let's hear it, Cat. I'm ready.
So if I do lose you, just let me know, and then I guess you can cut it, and then we'll pick up where we left off.
Okay.
So, what is life for? Why are we here? What are we supposed? Right? That's what everybody wants to know.
Hey, I lost you there for a little bit. Just restart.
The meaning of life. Why are we here? What are we supposed to do? What is it for?
Big questions.
Big questions.
Question.
I've discovered what the meaning of life is. What is our purpose and what is our intent? Why are we supposed to be? What are we supposed to do? So, if you're poor, you're born poor, you grow up poor, you have poor kids, you marry a poor girl, you grow up, they have poor kids, and then you die poor. So obviously, getting rich is not the meaning of life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You're born rich, you have rich kids, marry a rich wife, blah, 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 die rich. Being poor is not the meaning of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's within the actions, right? It's what we do with the life is where the meaning comes from and the intent. It's part of our actions. It's things we're required to do. Yep. So it's become apparent to me, and this sounds kind of funny and goofy, but there's more to it. Life, the meaning of life is that life is supposed to suck. It is supposed to be a shit sandwich, right? It is supposed to be a struggle every day. It is supposed to challenge you and try to hurt you and crush you in every way possible until you give up and die. And that sounds a little heavy and a little dark.
Very heavy and very dark, but continue. I'm here.
What is one thing that is constant in life, regardless of what happens, where you are on the planet, who you are, what's your gender, your sexual orientation, your age, your wealth, your status? Gravity is there all the time, always.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity is always there. When you wake up in the morning, you're laying down, and gravity just has its fucking fat thumb on you. And you've got to fight back. You've got to fight against gravity just to get up. Just to get out of bed, you have to fight immediately. And you have to stay standing all day long. And if you ever decide to quit, gravity's there, and it's going to push you right back down. Always. It is always there until you can't stand anymore. And you go in the ground, they bury you 6 feet under the dirt, and gravity will still push you and push you and push you. And it'll pack that dirt tighter on top of you, so tight, and push, and it always gets the last laugh. always. With that being said, everyone experiences that same gravity. Everybody. Everyone has to fight the same every day. They just don't realize it. You fight. You wake up in the morning and gravity is there, and you have to fight against it just to get out of bed and do anything. Productive, non-productive, good, evil, whatever. You still have to fight gravity just to be, just to exist, right?
Yes.
So everyone shares in that burden, but they don't alleviate the burden from anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
It is your own to bear. But the beauty of it and the meaning of life, the reason we're here is to positively impact someone else. To cross paths with somebody and just for a split second make them forget that life fucking sucks. And it's free. It costs nothing.
Yes.
You could spend money on it if you want, but it doesn't have to be costly. It can be free, completely free. And you have no idea how much you impact somebody's life in that split second when you cross paths with them and make them forget that life sucks for a minute.
Yeah.
You don't know. Here you are. I'm driving down the road right now, and there's oddly enough a RAV4 passing me. Very unfortunate. But the guy driving the RAV4, he's got a fucking 9mm pistol with one bullet in it in the passenger seat. He's going to drive up to the end of the road, and he's going to suck start that thing. Right?
Yep.
Probably not, but I don't know that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And he's going to do this because he got fired from his job, his wife left him, his kids don't want anything to do with him, nobody gives a shit about this guy. And as I see him passing me, I just give him a casual wave. And we make eye contact for that millisecond where we're in focus. And I give him that friendly little wave. I don't know this guy. He don't know me. But I wave at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he waves back.
Yep.
And he turns the car around and he goes home. Because he has that moment of clarity where he thinks, someone does care. They don't know me. But someone just showed me a kind gesture. Maybe I'll suck start this pistol tomorrow. So he goes home, and on the way home, there's an orphanage on fire, whatever. And he's like, well, I'm going to die anyway. I'll run in there and save a bunch of kids. And the kids grow up and cure cancer, right? Like this butterfly effect of goodness because of that one little gesture. And I'll never know. It's not like he's going to be this big money mogul where everybody knows who he is, and he says, I was going to kill myself until some guy in this 2020 YGMC in a military uniform waved at me. I'm never going to know this.
Well, it's not about the recognition either. Like you said, it's
not. But I'm not going to know how that wave turned out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to know the severity of the situation when I wave. I'm not going to know the severity of the situation when I say, oh, let me hold the door for you. Or when I buy that random 50-cent thing of candy for this kid who obviously can't afford it, or whatever that small little gesture is, those encouraging words, the random wave, the getting out of my seat so somebody who obviously needs it more than me can sit down. You don't know how much of an impact you're going to make, but that tiny blip where you cross paths could change somebody's life.
Absolutely.
The more you do it, the more they will do it. The more they do it to someone else, the more that someone else will do it to someone else. And if everyone is doing it, life isn't all that shitty anymore.
I'll be honest, when you started this conversation, I was wondering where you were going with it because it did get really dark and really heavy, but I knew you were going somewhere profound with it. And it's funny how the whole conversation links back up because that's what we were talking about at the very beginning of the conversation. We were talking about the RAV4s and then dream cars, and then, okay, well, if you do make a lot of money and then you have kids that grow up with all this money, how do you help them understand the balance? Because at the end of the day, like you said, regardless if you're rich or regardless if you're poor, pain is universal. You might not be experiencing the same pain, because sometimes when you're poor, you're experiencing the pains of being poor, right? And then likewise, when you're rich, you are bearing the pains of being rich, which some people would say, well, how is there pain when you're rich? But just think about how many wealthy people have taken their own lives. You know what I mean? Like, pain is universal. So like you said, dude, that thoughtfulness, and we got onto the topic of just like the idea of buying that guy that BMW bus or whatever. You know, it's like, it's not the price tag attached to what you do, because a lot of what we're even talking about doesn't have to have a price tag on it. It's, like you said, when you spread positivity, whether it's holding that door open, whether it's saying a kind word, whether it's giving someone a call, whether it's, holding the door open, doing the wave, like, you never know what that person's going through, and you never know the alternative. That's the thing too. Like, if you don't do it, you know what I mean? You make that eye contact, and instead of smiling and waving, you just don't. And then that guy drives to his destination, and he does do that act of taking his life. You know what I mean? You don't know the alternative. So if you just lean into the thoughtfulness of keeping mindful that everybody is experiencing pain on one level or another. We don't know what is behind each other's eyes. There could be heartache, there could be pain, there could be the end of the rope. You don't know what it is. And so if you just take that time out of your day, and it's 5 seconds, but it could be 5 seconds for the rest of that person's life that impacts them, and they could lead the change to do, like you said, it could be the person who cures cancer. You don't know. And you'll never get the recognition for it either, but that's the beautifulness of it. Like, in some cases, some people might come back. Like, I was having this discussion with this guy the other day, and we were talking about just the benefits of just being a good dude and what that does to people around you and what it does to you. And because we've all had people who have drastically changed the what's the word I'm looking for? The course of our lives. Like, you know what I mean? Whether it was that, you know what I mean? It could just be that simple thing. Like, for me, it was David Rogers. You know what I mean? Like, the way that dude impacted me changed my life forever. And one day, if everyone knows my name, they're going to know his name, because everything that I have been able to become, the insight, the wisdom, the heart to want to help other people, derived from that man. You know what I mean? Because he changed me. Like, he deposited something in me when it was so desperately needed to be deposited, and he did it simply by driving that old white truck up to my house and picking me up. You know what I mean? That's all he did. And he just let me hang out with him. And he's like old enough to be my grandpa, but he knew my home life was shit, and he just cared. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, he just cared enough to pick me up. That was it. It wasn't like he picked me up and gave me a bunch of money or like, moved me into his house, him and his wife, and, just became my alternative parents or something. All he simply did was just say, hey, man, like, anytime you want to, you can get off the bus here and, just hang out with me and my wife, and we'll do some things around the house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it just became a mentor when I desperately needed. And that's a level up of what you're talking about. But it all started with that first one. You know what I mean? It developed as time went on. But, dude, thoughtfulness goes so far. That's what I'm saying, dude. It changes people's lives. And it was so cool that you brought that up, because I literally had that conversation yesterday about how thoughtfulness is the answer. You know what I mean? And I'm phrasing it as thoughtfulness. I know you phrased it differently, but just the thoughtfulness of thinking about someone else, and like you said, for that split moment, you help them through the pain that we're all experiencing in whatever level. Because what brings tears to my eyes is not the same that brings tears to Kat's eyes, right? But the fact that it can both bring us to tears, whatever that thing is, the universal feeling from that is pain. We all feel pain. And likewise, we can all feel joy. And if you can make someone feel joy, even if it's momentary, even if it's for a split second. And I think we talked about this last time. We had these little, I don't know what we're going to call these, but these little conversations, you know what I mean? Thoughtful conversations. Like we had this last time where we were talking about just the idea of, you know, there were just some similar, we were talking about the dash in your story, and it got me thinking, like, you know, life is made up in a series of moments, and some moments last for minutes, and some moments last a lot longer. You know, they might last your entire lifetime, right? The moment that you're sharing with whichever person. Some of the moments we share with people only last minutes. Some of them last for our entire lifetime. But one day, both of those will be memories. And what will outlast your life is going to be the memory. You know what I mean? It's going to be the story.
I'm going to get off here, but I'm going to leave you with one thing that always stood out in my mind, and it's one of the coolest quotes. I don't even know where it came from. I don't give a shit where it came from. It's such a powerful thing.
Give it to me. I'm ready.
A man dies twice in his lifetime. And that sounds crazy, but a man dies twice.
Serious.
He dies the first time when he takes his last breath, and he dies the second time when the last person on earth mentions his name.
It's deep. It's good.
George Washington will never die, ever. He lives forever, in money, in history, forever.
Yeah.
But John Smith III, that got off the Mayflower and went and did his own thing, he's dead, man. Nobody knows that guy.
Yeah.
He's gone. And I'm not saying living forever is something anyone should strive to do, but the actions in which you do can give you that. You should strive to do those positive actions so that maybe that will live on forever. Your actions, not you, but it may inspire someone else to also be that real good dude.
Exactly, man. Just the story of your life is important. You know what I mean?
It is. So, with that, I'm going to get off here and go in the house and maybe eat some dinner.
Dude, I love the deep conversations with Kat. Maybe that's what we call this segment. I love it. But, yeah, bro. Have a good day. Have a good night, I mean. Have some good dinner. What are you eating?
I don't know.
Well, all right. Well, hopefully it's good.
It's going to be, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Shawn, it's been real.
Yeah, dude. I love you, man, and I appreciate the convo.
Let's do this again.
All right, let's do it. Later, bro.
Later.